Putin actually increased his attack after the meeting. So more killing happened after the meeting. And Trump capitulated yet again, saying, well, one side or the other may not want a ceasefire. People could start to rebuild. He said people might start to rebuild and they don't want that. Welcome to the Think Tank, where we use critical thinking, deductive reasoning, just a pinch of common sense to draw unbiased and logical conclusions. Today I'm back with my co-host, the Honorable Dion Powell, who will now introduce himself. Dion.
I'm the Bronx District Leader, Dion Powell of the Conservative Party.
And a good way to segue into the fact that we're here to discuss his meetings with Putin, Zelensky, and the other leaders of the world. Let's talk about them in order. There was a meeting with Putin last week. For those of you that do not know, Vladimir Putin is the leader of Russia, who advanced an attack on his neighbor Ukraine in what was supposed to be, I don't remember, he came up with some BS and then became a full-scale invasion, a war that's been going on for 3 years. This happened under the Biden administration, as Trump likes to point out multiple times.
Which is true. And you also have to add that Vladimir Putin said, yes, this would have never happened if Trump would have won in 2020.
Actually, I was about to say that very thing next. I was. That was the very next words out of my mouth. So they did it. They had a meeting. It just happened to be that this meeting occurred a couple of days after what was going on with Ghislaine Maxwell getting released from prison or getting her permit to be able to walk out of jail for 12 hours a day. And, so all this war's been going on since Trump was in office, and suddenly he meets with Putin. So let's talk about that meeting, because that meeting was interesting. He goes to meet Putin, right? He's like, yeah, we got out of planes at the same time. And he starts talking about all types of synergetic energy. That's not the words he used, but that's what he said. He said, you can feel like we have a rapport, basically, because we both exited our planes. I'm like, yo, is he talking about Jeffrey Epstein? So after that, Putin calls him. He's like, yo, let's have a sit down. We got to talk in private. And they go to get inside of what's called the beast. The beast is the president, our president, Donald J. Trump's, the president's limo, the beast. The airplane he flies is Air Force One, the limo's the beast. So they climb in the beast. No cameras, no microphones, nothing. As he's getting in, Vladimir looks back and smirks at the camera. Vladimir Putin's right-hand man comes in rocking a USSR shirt. Trump rolled out the red carpet for this war criminal that can't step foot in most countries because he'd be arrested on the spot for his war criminality.
Okay.
That's actually a fact. And worst of all, the part that's utterly and completely disgusting for me is on that red carpet, he had U.S. troops kneeling before kneeling before Putin. He had U.S. troops kneeling before him utterly disgusting. Matter of fact, Dion, do you have anything to say about this?
Once again, the man deserves his Nobel Peace Prize because so far he's calming things down and people are talking.
Okay, let's discuss his calming things down. So, a couple of weeks ago, Trump was like, he's not going to be happy if he walks into this meeting and gets anything but a ceasefire. He walks in this meeting, gets drugged into this limo by Vladimir Putin, his own limo. The man that's not even supposed to be able to step foot outside of the USSR without getting arrested is greeted with a red carpet and kneeling troops, drug into the car, drug into the beast, the president's limo. And when he exits, what happens? There's no sanctions. Trump is like, I think that he wants to stop the war because of me. As a matter of fact, he continued bombings. What came what came of that meeting? He said there's going to be a meeting. When Trump said that it was going to be a trilateral meeting between all three of them, they came out the meeting, and what happened? What happened? Oh, it's just going to be between Putin and Zelensky. Last time that happened, didn't Putin stand him up? Is that not the history? Is it that nothing got accomplished? Nothing that Trump promised us occurred? Well, not that anybody that really believed him, but nothing happened. Trump got nothing from that deal. But here's what did happen. That's not true. Vladimir Putin got quite a bit out of that deal. Here's what he got. He got before without the president getting anything, without anything in return. He already promised that there will be no U.S. boots to step on the ground to defend the Ukraine. He already promised that Ukraine could not get into NATO. What did Putin give up? What did Putin lose? It sounds like when you look at it, Putin gained, the United States lost, and he came and he looked like a hero to his people. I mean, we're talking about a guy who's allowing Donald Trump's wife to have nude pictures of herself flashed on Russian TV on a consistent basis. I say the president got punked and America's weaker. What did you say?
I saw the media fume because they're not used to peace deals being cut by people that they promote to be hated, which is Trump. I saw excellent negotiations taking place publicly, no arguing like happened with Zelensky and other characters. But yes, the working relationship between Putin and Trump continued, and that's what I saw. Nice conversation, no bickering, no staring down, just showing each other respect and discussing things out. Now, when you segue into the next portion, where Zelensky actually put on a damn suit for a change because Trump put him on blast, and other European leaders came and said, you know what, Trump, we want to hear you out. I think that's also a good look as well.
Well, the way the mainstream media is reporting it is that they came to support Zelensky because last time he got jumped in the Oval Office. As a matter of fact, if that had happened to Trump, he'd have had the Marines there like he did for big balls. What did what did Putin offer Trump? Putin got no boots on the ground for your troops, no NATO for and that they would have to give Zelensky would have to give up land. What did the US do? What did Trump do outside of give concession after concession to Putin? What else did he do other than say, whatever you want, sir? Putin said to him, mail-in ballots are bad, right? There's mail-in ballots in Russia, but he told Trump mail-in ballots are bad. Now Trump's going after mail-in ballots. Did he bend over and grab his swollen ankles? What happened?
Yeah, well, first of all, I wasn't there and we're not privy to a lot of the conversation. But from what we're seeing, it's been very productive. So much so that even the European leaders, because it mostly affects them because the war is on their property, are really looking to Trump for continued leadership and no more much bad mouthing if you think about it. Because they said so in the past, they would just bad mouth Trump. Trump is giving it to Putin. He's his dog, blah, blah. But nope, sure enough, he sat everybody down in his old office. He's behind his desk, and they're sitting in front of him like a classroom of students.
He sat him behind the desk in his old and like
The
a
president of
student.
the
Yeah, it
United
did look like
States.
that.
Now, all the other countries in Europe or surrounding this Europe, this conflict between Ukraine and Russia, are looking towards Trump for leadership and guidance. So if it wasn't so, all that trash talking they've been doing for years has kind of subsided. Don't you agree? You hear nothing but crickets now from people like Finland. I think it was the president of Finland or that gave him such praise. Of course, we know Italy's behind Trump because she's of the same conservative opinion. But everybody else is like, we need you, Trump, because you're talking to Putin, and we can't talk to Putin unless we talk to you to talk to Putin. So it's working
Well,
out.
it is interesting you should say that because the most interesting thing that came to me out of that meeting, the very most interesting thing is that he stopped the meeting to go report to Putin. He literally was like, all right, I'll be right back. And went and spoke to Putin for 40 minutes on what was going on in the meeting. And his reason for doing that is because he didn't want to be disrespectful to Putin. That was his own words. I left the room because I didn't want to be disrespectful to Putin. You know, these guys, they haven't gotten along in a while. I thought it would be disrespectful to Putin to have a call in the room with them. Do you don't think it's crazy that he interrupted everybody else in the world to stop and go report to Putin? You don't think there's something wrong?
Well, again, I think it was a good move on the president. Even if Putin had control of Trump, which he doesn't, it still sounds like, hey, Trump is trying to make everybody happy best he can.
So you don't think he has control over them, but when he touches down, troops are bowing to him. He goes and climbs in his limo and has a private conversation with him, and then gets everything he wants. And Trump starts echoing him like, "Yeah, mail in ballots, blah blah blah." And in the middle of a meeting with all the world leaders there, he stops dead in his tracks to go call Putin and report. But you don't think he's? Are you kidding me?
How many people are dying as a result?
The killings
How
haven't
much money are we
stopped.
wasting on
The
military
killings
now?
have. In your response, the killings haven't stopped. In response, Putin refused the ceasefire, and Trump was okay with it now. His words were something along the lines of, well, it, some people may not want a ceasefire on one side or the other. On one side or the other, come on, really? On
People
one
are
side or
talking.
the other.
That's a good thing.
I'm sorry?
People are talking, and that's what's important right now.
And what are
These
they saying?
people,
And what are
at
they
least
saying?
it doesn't matter. They're talking. There's no escalations. Things are starting to subside, in my opinion. And the European leaders know this. That's why they need Trump. Otherwise, they could just badmouth them, cat things they wear, but they need the war to come to an end. And the only person that can talk to Putin is Trump. So unless they don't want that to happen, keep badmouthing Trump. Or just be quiet and let the man lead. And they follow.
Except for that's not what happened at all. Actually, what really happened was Putin actually increased his attack after the meeting. So more killing happened after the meeting. And Trump capitulated yet again, saying, well, one side or the other may not want a ceasefire. People could start to rebuild. He said people might start to rebuild and they don't want that. Like the things he said were crazy. He said, I saw several wars, 6 wars with no ceasefire. Wars that settled, and the people that was actually involved in the war said he had nothing to do with. The presidents involved said he did not have anything to do with, but he wants a Nobel Peace Prize for solving wars that the people involved with the war said he had nothing to do with. He wants a Nobel Peace Prize for solving the war in Russia while it's only getting worse day by day. He wants a Nobel Peace Prize when children are still starving in Gaza, but nobody wants to talk about that. What are you talking about? Give this man a Nobel Peace Prize. He did nothing to help. All he did was capitulate to Putin. He had troops bowing to Putin. He doesn't even ask for them to kneel before him. Troops don't kneel before people. We salute. Well, I'm not a Navy person anymore. Troops salute. They don't kneel. That's retarded. It's an insult to the entire United States of America. And because you didn't serve, you don't understand how much of an insult that is to look at.
Well, let's just say that as a veteran, you said yourself you appreciate how we don't have any more troops over there anymore. When we were lied to and said that there are no troops over there, but we come to find out we have troops over there under contractors. Isn't that interesting? And we had our own people dying over there before Trump was even involved in the whole situation. That's the first thing he stopped on us from having our military over there. Isn't that great?
Well, if you want to hear my honest opinion, I would rather be over there fighting with Ukraine than bowing before Putin. That's how I feel.
Okay,
That's how I feel.
well, thank you for your service. Okay.
I would rather be fighting with Ukraine than bowing before Putin. That is insane. That hit me in a way you'll never understand. There's a tank headed to Ukraine right now that's been shown all over Russian TV with a US flag and a Russia flag. This is a man that's capitulated. He is not complaining about tanks headed toward Ukraine with United States flags on them. How do you feel about that?
That's fine. No death and destruction. Whatever it
What?
takes for some peace.
Keep there's a tank. Maybe you didn't understand me. I don't even know what you just said. That doesn't compute.
I'm trying to read what I have here in the notes. You're saying that on Russia TV shows tank with US and Russia flags. So what?
Heading to war with Ukraine. Russia is heading to war with Ukraine, carrying a U.S. flag.
Maybe that's the whole strategy. So far, doesn't really affect much of the day here in America. That's why the European countries need to be scared, not us. They should pick up the slack and get involved. They don't need us, do they?
Wait,
Germany, you don't need us. France, you don't need us. Hungary, you don't need us. Czech Republic don't need us. All the other countries that surround Ukraine don't need us.
wow.
England, step up. England, you know what? You step up, UK. European Union, do your job. America, we're gonna fall back.
That's not falling back. That is. I don't think you. I don't understand how you could see anything but what that is. Like this tank here is headed to Russia. Is headed to Ukraine. They're attacking Ukraine, waving a United States flag after the meeting with Putin. After the meeting with Putin, they're waving the United States flag as they attack Ukraine.
Well, guess what? I don't mind that picture so much as I mind Zelensky coming into our Congress, and our entire Congress is flooded with Ukrainian flags. Why don't you go to the graphic where Zelensky's in our Congress with nothing but Ukrainian flags everywhere in our Congress, in our Capitol? I didn't like that one. So you should put that picture up. I think that picture is worse. Oh, look at this. Oh, look at all these wonderful signs of support. And it's littering all over. Look at all these. Our whole freaking government is flooded with these damn, what's that, baby blue and baby yellow, all in our capital. Disgusting to me. All over our Congress. Let's see. At the top, here we go. Nancy Pelosi and our would-be President Kamala Harris. Disgusting. Had the flags all littered throughout our Congress. That's what I didn't like at all. Now that's influence over the government.
They didn't roll out the red carpet for anybody else in the world. You had everybody at the White House, Zelensky, and all of them were there. Who got the red carpet rolled out except for Putin? So, and now he's walking around talking Putin's talking points. He's interrupting meetings with world leaders to go report back to Putin. That's what he did. And he was like, because I didn't want to offend Putin. Like, yo, he's grabbing his own swollen ankles, bent over. He's talking about, I think Putin wants to stop the war for me. He was caught on a hot mic saying that. Like, yo, really? What kind of, like, why you essing, like, why you, like, yo, he's really all over this dude like that? You don't find that a little worrisome that he wants to impress Putin that much?
No. We gotta do what it takes to get some peace and leadership. And if they didn't want Trump to do it, then the European leaders, let's see, they can negotiate all by themselves without Trump. If Trump is crazy and a bootlegger to Putin, go deal with Putin. Don't be Trump. Why come to Trump? Oh,
I have to agree that they all want Trump to be the strength of the world that the United States once was. And they're hoping to see some kind of strength in Trump. And so they all came to him. But I don't think anybody's really expecting Trump to step up against Putin. It looks to me as if Trump not only reveres Putin, but he's scared of him. Or maybe Putin is just manipulating him and all of the media is right. But it looks like to me that when they stepped inside that limo, Putin said, come here, buddy. See this? We got you. Probably the Epstein files. Same way they hacked Hillary, they probably hacked him. We got you. You want this released? Do as I say.
oh God.
I believe that's what I honestly like I'm not even BSing. I honestly believe that's what happened. That makes the most sense. Because afterwards, if you look, Trump did not look comfortable and Putin looked smug as heck. Like, and afterwards, I don't know. I could be wrong, but that's what it looked like to me. I could be wrong. You don't seem to buy that. I don't think when he said, I think Putin wants to end the war for me, he's compromised. Now, what way he's compromised is debatable. But no matter what, Putin has too much sway over him. He has too much sway over the president of the United States.
Well, the thing is, Trump's predecessor, Joe Biden, that's when you should start asking questions about who was running the country. Because Joe Biden doesn't seem like he had the mental capacity to do what President Trump is doing right now on a public scale and under such scrutiny by the cameras. So
let me ask you a question. Is it that Biden was such an incomplete numbskull that people had to run it for him? Or was he, like Donald Trump says, just doing things and he was so incompetent he messed it up? Which one is it? It cannot be both.
It can't be both. This man was mentally incapacitated.
So then he wasn't messing things up, so then Trump is lying. If he wasn't doing it, then blaming him, you're blaming him something he didn't do.
Let's just say the leadership skills of Trump right now, with 4 extra years on top of his age, is still better than Biden. Because remember, Biden got us into this mess, allegedly. Did he know what he was doing? How come Biden wasn't sitting down with Zelensky publicly for hours and talking to Putin?
Because he didn't sit. Why didn't he sit down with a war criminal for hours?
Well,
I don't want my president sitting down with a war criminal. I want the guy representing me.
He sat down with a war criminal
to have some kind of decency and respect.
In Trump's first term and didn't have any wars. Isn't that interesting?